Alright, well last time when I demoed the siege cannon, I promised that I might be working on something else next, and I couldn't very well let the Somtaw have the only toy. So, let's see the infection beam. Another one that's been pretty hard for people to see a way to build. The bouncing beam is pretty difficult. But here we go. As you can see, the beam bounces between multiple targets, sets them tumbling, makes them unselectable, and then eventually converts them. It also respects the different cost in beam strength or beam energy or whatever you want to call it for different sizes of ships. So we captured 5 corvettes with that instead of 2 frigates. And if you don't have any targets, it jumps to the nearest one. However, if you give it a target, then the first jump will be to that target instead of as normal to the nearest target. And then it'll bounce around normally. The beam has, by default, a 2-minute recharge time, but there's also functionality in there to give it a shorter recharge time to support the difference between heavy cruisers and carriers and motherships in terms of beam recharge time and Cataclysm. There's a few imperfections that I don't think are really correctable in the engine. You may have noticed that the beams sort of get left behind when jumping between fast-moving ships. That's unfortunate, but probably not fixable. If somebody else has an idea on how to fix it, that'll be wonderful. Much like the Siege Cannon, I'm going to be making this available for any mod to use if they want to, or to derive other behavior from. Link should be in the description of that. I'm going to be using that basically as the start of a community resource for scripting for this kind of stuff. Not just super fancy abilities, but general utility functions and so forth that'll be useful for programmers. Because I've put together a few things that I think would be generally useful and made a lot of notes for myself that I don't really have a good platform for distributing, so it seemed like a good opportunity to launch off of that. As you can see, here we've got this guy all ready to go for another shot. The behavior also respects that it does not have the ability to infect flagships or destroyers. Got a maximum range, so if we jump out to middle of nowhere, range is about sorry, about 2.5 kilometers. So if we jump out to the middle of nowhere, it shouldn't be able to hit anything. And if this test fails and it jumps to something that it shouldn't, then there'll be a slightly longer delay as I fix that before it becomes available for public release. But yeah, okay. So a few kinks to iron out yet, but by the time this video goes live, I will have tested that as fixed. Thank you for watching, and I hope somebody makes use of this in a real mod.